Okay, thank you, my opponent or my partner for continuing on with my speech. I would like to point out one thing she did not mention about our opponent and what he previously said. He argued with statistics that affected Canada. However, Canada is not the country at hand right now, and it's not an issue. Every country is different, and everything that's going to happen in each country, you can't compare the two. So maybe there was a drop in crime rates when the death penalty was no longer active in Canada. That does not mean that that's going to happen in the United States. I'm sure there's plenty of countries where dropping the death penalty would continue to keep crime rates up. But again, we can't use that. The United States is our own country. It's unique. There's a lot of things that we have that Canada does not have, and a lot of things that would challenge that. So that is not a fair claim to make. Also, to continue on with the argument of race and the fact that the death penalty is racially biased and the fact that African Americans are treated far more harshly, the statistics just don't add up to that. Like my partner said, the last 3 people on federal death row executed were white, Latino, and black. The last 3 covered the three of the main races in our country, and was equal. It wasn't all black people being executed, it was not all white people, it was not all Latino, there was a mix. It fits the crime, not the race. To continue on with that, African Americans are being exonerated at a much higher level than any other race is being exonerated. So yes, they may have been sentenced to a death sentence, and still that statistic is far below any white person that is being sentenced to the death sentence. They are also being exonerated at a much higher level. Like my partner said, African Americans are exonerated at 84 were exonerated according to the deathpenaltyinfo.org, and 62 white people have been exonerated. My opponent mentioned about how that there was a man in Texas that was the second white man executed for killing an African American. However, I believe that took place in 1973. That's a very long time ago. It is now 2018. And on January 18th, 2018, Anthony Shore was executed for murdering 2 Hispanic women. So no, Texas executions are not biased. It's not, if a white person is killed, you're more likely to get a death sentence. And plain and simply, that data was way out of range. It's too far ago to necessarily be prevalent. Again, acknowledging the fact that my opponent argues that the jury is mainly white or mainly white Americans, and that is a negative consequence for African Americans in getting the death sentence. The Quarterly Journal of Economics argues, like our partner said, though race appears to play a role in the prosecutors and defense's use of peremptory challenges, studies have also shown that these opposing challenges cancel each other out. A lot of times prosecutors look to have African Americans on the jury, and the defense looks to have white people on the jury. So they're both arguing, they're both trying to get a certain race on it, and it eventually cancels out. You can get kicked off being on jury duty for multiple reasons that have absolutely nothing to do with race. It's very possible to get one race on the jury, but it's likely not racially driven. Last but not least, continuing with the immoral issue, the fact that my opponent argued about, just kidding.